Hello, today's vlog is aimed at candidates. I've already talked a couple of weeks ago about writing your CV, and now this is about writing your cover letter. So when you apply for a job, you would normally send two documents, a covering letter and a CV. A covering letter is basically what it says. It's a letter from you to the employer. It's your sales pitch about why you're suitable for the job. And a CV is a record of your career and employment to date. That lists your strengths as well, but I think we can make the covering letter a little bit more personal to the job that you're applying for. I would say that you probably do always need a covering letter. There might be things in there that can help the employer. And I think for a recruiter, it really helps to see why you think you're suitable for the job. And sometimes I can copy and paste that and put that with my notes that I make, having spoken to you, and it just helps to boost your submission. I think if the employer or the agency doesn't ask you to submit a covering letter or an email, then I think you should submit one anyway. Make sure that you are only writing it on a one-side A4 piece of paper. So it's probably unlikely that it's going to be a hand-delivered, handwritten letter. It's much more likely it's going to be an email. Don't make it too long. Make sure that you have looked at the job description and you've outlined on that covering email why you are suitable for the role. So if you've got good examples to give against key requirements on the job, then list them. All right. Make sure that your name and contact details are on your covering email, just in case it gets lost away from your CV. Say they print it off and it gets lost. You want to make sure that they can identify it's you. Make sure it's clear what role you've applied for. Quite often I see applications from candidates where they've submitted their CV, but on the CV it'll say it's really great that I'm applying for a management accountant role, when actually they've actually applied for a marketing role and they've forgotten to tailor that letter. They've just sent it out willy-nilly. So you don't want that, because that doesn't set a very good example, obviously. And make sure you front load that cover letter with your explanations of why you meet the key requirements of the role, and any other relevant strengths that you can mention. I think spelling and grammar are really, really important. It's a prose in a covering letter. It's a prose. It's not a collection of lists like a CV. It's normally kind of how you would speak to someone to sell yourself to the job, but it's written down. So the employer and the agency are going to look at the arguments that you make in your letter, hopefully, and your reasons why you think you should be employed. It's, looking at CVs can be quite dry, and if we're looking at a lot of CVs, sometimes they all kind of muddle into one. And I know you don't want to hear that as a candidate. You want to think, well, you're the most important candidate, and you are at that particular time that we're dealing with you, obviously. But you've got to make yourself stand out. And for me, when I'm looking at a covering email that comes with the CV, I want to know straight away, bam, 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 like that. What is it that makes you think you're the right person for this job? As I say, make sure you've done a spell check on it. Make sure you've done the grammatical check. If you're not an English speaker and English is not your first language, then it's perhaps a good idea to get a native English person to actually have a look at it as well, because it's really, really important. And yeah, just make sure that it tells the employer or the agency how much you want the job and why, as I say, you think you're suitable. If you're not sure and you want any more information, you can drop me an email at helen@aspirejobs.co.uk. Thank you.